Greeting, traveler.
Change your mind.
Require my assistance? We're gonna be rich. Require my assistance? Who am I?
Let me change your mind.
Greeting, traveler. Who am
change your mind.
Good evening, everybody. It is that time of the week again. Yes, it's Wednesday. Yes, you are that much closer to your weekend and freedom from the sweet release of death. Okay, that was meant a little too bluntly. And yes, you can start making your hump day jokes, but more importantly, it is time for another episode of Tavern Talk, the show where we make terrible hot takes, talk about shenanigans, and try our best to keep you all entertained for about an hour to an hour and a half. I am, of course, JR Juggerlaw, and with me tonight are my usual hosts. We've got ourselves first the man, the master OP, the man who may be part doctor one day, but for now he's just part fish. Say hello to Dr. Fish.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm doing way too much this season, but I love it, so we're gonna keep going.
I mean, that's the spirit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And of course, our other co-host, the man, the myth, the legend. Except we know he's real, so he's technically not a myth, but he's definitely a man and a legend for sure. Geranium Battle.
Hello. Yes. Today you may see me a little bit more rosy cheeked than usual, and that's because I am sunburned. So hopefully I'll continue through this stream and be fine going into tomorrow. But I'm glad to be outside again.
Awesome.
I think we all are. I mean, I spent last weekend in California, and that was pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. Though, strangely enough, it was less warm there than it is in New York. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I guess that's just the current circumstances we're in. Yeah, I am very excited for today's show. After kind of I had some time off, some time to relax, and now I'm ready to get back into the swing of things. I'm very happy that we are up to this point in the week because not only is Tavern Talk great, but we are that much closer to the weekend and freedom. But we're going to take this one step at a time and get right into things. Now, let's start off with Legacy. Of course, Legacy is once again shaping up to be pretty exciting. I'll just go off on a quick tangent by saying we've got ourselves a very hot race. Unfortunately, my team IDK has been on a bit of a losing streak the last couple weeks, but we're still in a very good spot, and we're very fortunate in that we've actually played most of our toughest matchups already. So that definitely makes me feel pretty confident. Dad Legend right now 4-2, at a pretty substantial lead, but they also haven't had their bye yet. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. And I'm still very shocked by the fact that in red, F2L White is doing so well despite only having one win to their name. They are still averaging quite a lot of points per week, and it's pretty nuts. And obviously, going down the list, we've got a lot of teams still kind of in the running. And then in the Gold Conference, we've got ourselves Chaos Theory, a 3-3 team finding themselves in the top with 91 points. A Noyo team right behind them. But as you can tell, the only team that has only one loss right now is Hot Zilfs. And they've had their bye, and two of the three teams ahead of them have not. So I am very intrigued by how this is all going to play out.
Yeah.
I would like to say you're talking down your team, JR, but you're still tied for third most points per week, and you've had the strongest opponents of any team in your entire conference. So
I absolutely believe in my team, and I feel pretty confident. I'm just definitely a little sad that the last 2 weeks didn't quite go our favor. But we've also had some pretty high-scoring loss weeks, so I feel pretty optimistic. I was definitely sad I couldn't play my match last week. Bone Masher almost got the win against Electric Sheep City, but couldn't quite deliver. But damn, the man tried. He definitely gave it his all. So I'm hoping this week now with me back in the pilot seat, even though I do have to play against the legendary Astral Frog, I'm just hoping that things actually go well for us this week, especially because as much as I love Dirty Mike and the boys, they're 1-5 this season, and I'm hoping that that momentum sticks with us and not with them. Even though Lefty is my hero captain, I can't knock them down too much.
Yeah. And as for Orcs, I'll just briefly talk about my team. We took quite a beating by Chaos Theory last week. I don't know, like, we're sitting, I guess, probably in that 4, like, really on that teetering position. I obviously still believe in my team. I know that Tonk and our team are pretty close, except I think you guys have more points per week than us.
A little bit, tiny bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the weeks that really count. And our team has to play. We play Zilch this week, then we play Tonk, and then we play Anoyo. So there is no easy weeks left.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
but
it's crazy though. Orcs at Smorks, like Gold Conference is such an interesting little biome to look at because Orcs at Smorks was absolutely destroying the league.
yeah,
Had like 20 points per week, which was by far the most. And now they've actually come down to sort of a middle of the pack
yeah.
team, which is crazy. And I'm expecting them to make a resurgence near the end.
I'm hoping that happens. Yeah, and I do have the first matchup, but I would like to quickly mention. You see on our screen we have our THL Pride logo. Just and it'll also get mentioned in the commercial, but just to mention that we have our donation goal on the screen. We are donating sub money, bits, merch sales, and obviously just straight up donations. The link is down below if you're watching on PC, and it is in the info panels if you are on mobile. We're donating our as much as we can to the Trevor Project. We'll be collecting any amount you want to give, and using it for a really good cause. And all happening from pretty much the start of this week all the way through the end of June.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yep, definitely. So yeah, now that
And
we've
for those who are unaware, the Trevor Project is one of the most renowned, critically praised organizations as far as supporting the LGBTQIA community.
Mhm.
So, sorry, LGBT plus community is probably the best way of putting it now. And they've been covered for many. I want to say since like at least I've heard of them for about the last 5 years or so. They do a lot of great work. I highly recommend everybody look into them more. You will not be disappointed by what you find.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, And I also just want to say, really love the new THL logo. You'll see it as our Twitch logo. You'll see it as our Discord logo. You see it all over the place. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it.
Yep.
So I'm glad it's getting
Oh, it's
shown.
fantastic. I didn't say this in the chat like in the Discord like I wanted to, but I will just say I would be 100% okay with that becoming the new THL logo.
Sure.
It's so nice and colorful. And I love the old logo to pieces, don't get me wrong. I love the regular logo, but it's like I feel like this is just such a beautiful design and is just also like that inclusivity of THL that it really highlights that. I think that's just a
Mhm.
pretty awesome thing to have.
Yeah. Shout outs to Mako for everything he's done to get this rolling.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So,
All right. I think that was a good time though. Let's get on
of
to the
course.
actual matches, shall we?
Yes.
So we're starting off with my pick, which is Defias Brotherhood versus Do You Even Talk? Hashtag Tonk emoji.
Yes.
Now, this match
Uh,
we're already seeing has one result to it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty stunned when I saw this. Wild 9 took down Just in Time 3-1. Geranium,
yeah.
what's going on, man? I need an explanation here.
Well, Justin. Okay. I can give you the real explanation, or I can give you the explanation that's maybe Justin would want me to say. Uh,
I would say
so
go for both because I feel like
yeah.
you probably just get to cover all of your bases that way.
So Justin's going on a road trip right now, so I'm not entirely sure how much time he's putting into practicing, into studying his opponents, into making sure that every single deck is perfect. He's spending a lot of time with friends and having fun, and that's the last two results. Is he's gotten 3-1 twice in a row um, while on that road trip. So I don't know how much of it is that, but he's also submitted the same class lineup Paladin, Priest, Rogue, Warrior as last time, and last time he also got 3-1'd. So not entirely sure. Justin's just washed. It's probably Justin's just washed, and
I'm gonna negative
Damn.
that and just say it's no, when you don't have as much time to put in, you don't always get the results. I mean, as long as you try to have some modicum of fun. I know he's having a lot of. It seems like he's having fun with what he's doing outside of the game, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that sounds about
but
right.
all the rest of these matches though are extremely close. Like, you see Hockey Boys at 1-4 and Turtle at 1-3. You see uh, all these different, like, pretty similar win rates with all the
Mhm.
different players. Even like I've been having a pretty good record, and Jester's someone I've been a little bit scared to go up against. So we'll see how it happens on stream.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll just say that of all these matchups, I'm very glad your match is the one that's going to be on stream. I would be interested in seeing all of these, but just particularly your
Yeah.
match, because I have faced Jester, and we had a really really good match. Um, and he's improved even more since we played last season, and as always, watching you play is always entertaining. Um,
I mean, this is basically battle of the top-notch 3 seeds. 2 players who could
yeah.
easily play in the 2 if the circumstances were different,
Mhm.
not just going off of the PR too.
Yeah, and then I think the other one would be Eeks and Ruski. Because I know this is Eeks' first full season, and this is also Ruski's first full season, so it'd be cool to see a couple of rookie 5 seeds going at it. They both seem like very strong players from what I've heard.
Yeah. So not only are all the different matchups pretty close, but also the points for each team. We're tied going into this week, and we both had our buys going into this week. So this is actually very important for each team to make sure that we are still in the running for those top 4 spots going into playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The person who loses this week might get pushed out, honestly.
Yeah, it's very possible.
It's definitely a big week. I mean, now we're getting down to the point where teams remember each team plays 8 matches. So after this, you've only got 2 matches left. It's going to be it's getting down to the wire at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And what's very interesting is because of how close it is, nothing really feels set in stone. Normally we feel like we have teams that are like really doing great that are kind of cementing themselves to be guaranteed a playoff spot. But I feel like at this point, uh, I don't think there's any team that's actually like like ignoring the mathematically locked aspect. I don't think there's any team that looks like they're going to mathematically lock themselves. It's like because even with Dad Legend on top of Red, they still haven't had their bye yet, and I feel like it's easy to underestimate how impactful that could be as far as the overall standings go.
Yeah, I agree. I remember my
I mean,
first season
granted, I
was
don't
this
think it's going to
way.
matter as much with with all the teams below Bank Yugi Fan Club,
Mm-hmm.
but I think any team that is like Bank Yugi Fan Club and up, I mean, that could make quite a difference.
But yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We will see. We will see.
Talking about though, I mean, all teams have a chance, which segues into the next matchup, I think.
Yes.
We got a Noyo team
Because
versus Meme Dream Team, right?
Meme Dream Team
That's
was
what
at
you're
the
talking about.
bottom of the rankings just 3 weeks ago. Like Meme Dream Team looked like they had very low chances to ever to make it in the league, and now they're sitting right up near the middle. And if they beat a Noyo team, they're almost securing one of the 4 playoff spots. Um, so this is
Hmm.
going to be a very important week for both of them as well. Uh, And actually, I want to mention we usually ask people to submit their classes pretty early on, so that way we have more information to talk about, um, and so that way we can compare their classes. Uh, Noya Team and Meme Dream Team almost didn't matter whether they submitted their classes or not. Um, if we look at what's been shown, the most up-to-date picture also has Catharsis and Clone added in. It's all the same classes. It's all Paladin, Priest, Rogue, Warrior.
Yeah,
Nice
I see that.
Nice Shao has brought Paladin, Priest, Rogue, Warrior every single week in the 3 seed, and it's no different.
I mean, look at his record. He's making it work. 4-1. He's doing fantastic this season. I think my favorite 2 matchups for this is Milo versus Interval and Molstar versus Easy Bake. Obviously, we don't have classes for the 1 seeds, but Molstar is an insane player. Easy Bake is a grinder, and he's done well for himself. He's done well for himself in THL. He's almost to that 550 PR. I believe he's been there before. I would guess he has, but he's just kind of been up and down at points. This team is just like kind of got a very similar records to some of the other teams in gold, but they have more 3-2s than 2-3s. In contrast with my team, which has 2 3-2s and 3 2-3 players. So yeah, I mean, Meme Dream Team has made it work since they started 0-2. So really good job by them.
Yeah. Also, interesting thing for a Noyo team is that Robocats, Darren, Bunny, their 1 seed has not been in THL the past few weeks.
Yeah, he's taking. So I think he's getting a bit busy. Maybe not so much enjoying the meta currently. So he's probably taking. So he's been taking subs, including a perma in hero. So
yeah. So fair. Molstar, definitely putting in the work though, and making a good replacement.
Yeah. So
I'll probably hear you, honestly.
So yeah. This match is interesting. I'm teammates with Catharsis on Hero. He's a fantastic player, so him versus Clone. It's interest. I
see that going to game 5, no matter who wins.
Yeah, it's a good match. Yeah, Molstar is perma. Says nice Jewish owl. Who would know? As he is one of the players on a Noyo team. There we go. Perma sub Molstar in the 1 seed for a Noyo team.
Wait, so it is permanent?
Yeah, it's just not permanent on the screen, but I assume next week it'll be black. I was gonna say
that's what I find always weird.
Yeah. Because I assume that they came in with him just as temp sub, and then this week they made it a permanent, prior to the website updating or after it. But hey, it's all good. This is one of those matchups that can keep a team's momentum, that can turn a team's momentum around, as Anoyo's kind of been up and down, sitting at that 3-3 record. And being Dream Team, if they can just keep on rolling, they will very likely be able to make playoffs. They're playing very well, but Anoyo is also a very good team, so we'll see how it plays out.
Noyo team obviously is also kind of in a rough spot though, just because they haven't had their bye yet, and this is they kind of really need a win from this. They're in a good spot right now, but a win this week would really kind of give them somewhat of a safety net, knowing that in the next 2 weeks they have their bye.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there.
Nishu Shell said that he'd like to, for the last match of the season, fight against a 2 seed, and it's looking like it. If he moves up to the 2 seed, Catharsis moves down.
Yeah,
it might just be their last week. No playoffs.
For sure. And I'd like to. We can see the kind of stark contrast in records between Nice Jewish Owl, who's 4-1, and then you have 1-3, 1-5, 2-4. It's these types of teams, they can get a lot of points and make it. I've been on teams who have who have come very close to playoffs with struggling players. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just somehow sneak in. But this is a very tough conference. Anyways, do we have any final thoughts before we move on to our last match?
No, tough conference. What's the other conference like?
Yeah, so moving on, segueing over to Red Conference,
Personally.
we have what I would call the match, probably the best match in Red this week. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look at all of them, so I might be missing one. But Dad Legend
It's up there.
versus STD versus Standard THL Degenerates. Gosh, there's a lot of good matchups here. Like I think almost every matchup in this game it would be worth highlighting. Zabe versus Python. Wow. Battle of like amazing players in THL. Your Bumkhead and Automated Button, like Automated Button's
Players who
struggling
arguably
slightly.
shouldn't be in the 2 seed.
Yeah, they're both 1C caliber players playing in the 2.
Sharmo versus Electric Sheep City, 2 players who absolutely should not be in the 3 seed.
Yeah. Blue Spartan versus Corridon. Very
Who absolutely should not be in the 4 seeds.
Yep, and then we've got Haster and Quas, both players who I could also see playing. Quas has been a long time 5 seed, but him sitting at 172, like he's definitely good enough to move up into like a 4 seed position, and Haster has some experience in the 4. So yeah, this is a really good match. I'd be very interested about seeing Zabe versus Python on a stream. And I think anytime I could get to watch Desharmo play, it would be awesome. Like Desharmo versus Electric Sheep.
It's that one.
Out of
that
every
one's
single
going to be
series.
deceptively hot, I think. Deceptively hype.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
Out of every single...
I also think your Mum Kid versus Automated Button should not go unmentioned.
No.
Definitely that one. I think actually could be the most exciting of the bunch personally. But that one is also kind of the hardest one to gauge.
Jareen, you got a point.
I was going to say that Mr. Python, out of all the series, Mr. Python has only sort of been struggling in Legacy, but this is his chance to really prove himself, to make sure that he is the MVP of every single series, is to face Honest Save. So, like, this is stacked all the way down, and what a match you picked.
Oh yeah, I looked at it. I said, "Oh, this match has to get we have to bring this match up. It's a fantastic. It's just really good, overall, and it has good implications because I mean, STD has they do have a tie. Red Conference has a couple of teams who have tied. So they're 3-1-1. They are sitting pretty much sitting a week difference from Dad Legend with a bye. So for sure, this team is in the running for playoffs in Red. And Dad Legend, even needing a bye week, they're just doing so well. I would be surprised if they didn't make it pretty convincingly this season.
I don't know what else to add. This one is just going to be extremely important. Dad Legend being in their comfortable lead, I still think they're really going to need some wins to really keep themselves in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
STD, of course, having a pretty solid run so far. This would definitely be a big win for them as well. Really put them in good playoff position.
Yeah, for sure. So that's Legacy Conference, 2 conferences that are Legacy Series, 2 conferences that are really shaping up to have great playoff races. And so we're gonna move on now to our Hero Series, our last Hero Standing Series. We're gonna start with the top team in Hero. So JR, you have No Pros here.
Yeah, this was the
Bad
match
Legend.
I was saying needed to be covered because it was like too hype not to talk about. No Pros here versus Dad Legend. No Pros here continuing to be a dominant force. They are 5-1 right now. They are currently in the lead, and we're officially we're almost half. We're a little more than halfway into the season. So if they keep up this momentum, I mean, damn, they're looking like they got themselves that playoff spot and that bye, that much desired bye that every single team wants. Make it to top 2 spots. You're guaranteed a spot in the top 4. Everybody wants that for sure. And then of course they're going up against Dad Legend, who are 4-2, also doing very well, and they've got themselves, a pretty well-rounded roster, all things considered. And they've been doing pretty well, but they, of course, now might have their fiercest competition yet. Agent PWE versus Notorious GHP. I mean, that's about as even as you get as far as. Excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
About as even as you get as far as 1-seed matches go. Carvalho versus Starlax. I feel like a lot of people are just easily going to favor Carvalho due to the PR difference, but Starlax is a really strong 2-seed despite the PR. So I feel like that's that's something he's not to be slept on. Your Mum Kid versus Risen. I also feel like PR Shmiar. Your
Yeah.
Mum Kid I do give Your Mum Kid the edge based upon his record compared to Risen, but I do think Risen is a top-notch player. He
Mhm.
could definitely pull off the upset. Disco versus Koro Dad. I I I feel like Disco probably has this, but you know what? But no. I take that back. I think Corridon has this one. I think I'm gonna give the edge to Koro Dad.
Mhm.
And then of course Quaz versus Yellow Dart. I mean, this is
Un-
like I
unfair.
feel like I should root for Yellow Dart, but I really want to see an
Un-
upset here.
un-
So yeah,
an unfair 5-seed. Please nerf.
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I hate just being like there's 200 PR difference. The person with the higher PR should win because that's not always the case. And I know Quas
I
is
mean,
an
there's
except
something inherently wrong with the fact that Yellow Dart's in the 5-seed, so
yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yellow Dart's a 2-seed in Legacy, and he's played in higher seeds before in Hero with different builds of Dad Legend. But this is like the classic Dad Legend PR build, where you've got like a 550, but then you've got a bunch of 300s and a high 200 PR player, and the team's just well rounded. Matches I like obviously Agent versus Notorious GHP, and I will take this moment because I casted his match with opt and casted his match with Venus Pomodi. I will publicly apologize for Agent for not believing in him last week on the show. He gave me crap for it in the interview. So congrats to him on a good win last week, and keep it up this week against GHP, who is subbing for Isocles. And also congrats to Isocles on the birth of his second child.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
And 2-seeds, I mean
Hashtag dad times 2.
yes. And Carvalho versus Starlax is pretty even record wise. Obviously we don't have any classes, so it's hard to be like who would have an edge based on classes. Your Mum Kid versus Risen. I mean, record wise, I would favor your Mum Kid. But we'll see how it plays out. Disco, and then the 4 and 5s are actually like even on record. I don't know. I just think MPH is on a roll. I know Dad Legend's also 4-2, so it's hard to be like, it's hard to say that like MPH is that far ahead of Dad Legend. But I think I would favor No Pros here to win this overall.
Yeah. I'm going
I
to
mean, it's
actually
hard not
update
to
you
favor
here,
them, to
though.
be
Sure.
fair.
Update.
So Disco and Corridon actually have classes in.
Cool.
With Disco, do I even need to tell you the classes? It's the same 4. It's Paladin,
Paladin,
Priest, Rogue, Warrior.
Ah,
But Corridon's actually bringing Druid, Paladin, Warlock, Warrior. He might be targeting the Priest there with that Warlock. We'll have to see exactly what that lineup is able to do.
Yes. This lineup absolutely that class is absolutely there only for the priest. Honestly, could have decent matchups into Paladin, but it's mainly there for priest. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sometimes also you see it against Warrior, but
yeah, for sure. It's got decent matchups into some of these decks, so it could really put in work for Cord, and it's cool to see some people bring in Warlock a couple of times. I'm a big fan of that class.
It's interesting right now because of Warlock. I look at like Control Warlock and I think, man, I feel like this can be very solid, but it feels like iffy in a lot of spots because it's like you
Yeah.
still really got to get your momentum going, which can be difficult. If you don't get your
Oh yeah.
ticketus down early, that might cause problems. I don't know.
Mhm.
It could be rough. If you, I feel like you're thinking like you want to make sure you beat down their deck quickly enough, but if you know what you're doing, you could probably make it happen.
Yeah, I mean it just doesn't like aggro right, so Rogue and Hunter are very good against that deck specifically. Um but uh yeah, I guess
yeah.
this is a really hype. This is like probably the best hero match this week. Again, didn't look at all the matchups, but I'm gonna say that just two top teams slugging it out is always fun to keep track of.
Agreed.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a super hype match, and the best part is that Agent PWE can't talk to me in an interview for not believing in him, because I'm not going to be in any interviews with him. So I'm
Mhm.
going to go with Notorious GHP winning this
Ooh,
time. Sorry, Pee-wee.
dang! Not believe. You're gonna fuel him, man. Fuel him to win. I know he uses it. MPH loves to use this stuff as bulletin board material. So go.
Next up, though,
Yes. Next match is on the screen.
We got
we got
ourselves a
Ask
good one.
HS.
Mhm.
Yeah, versus Inferno THL. So these guys are both sort of near the middle of the pack. They aren't quite up in the playoff positions, and it is getting into the last half of the season. For Hero Series, it's a little bit different from Legacy because they have so many different teams all in one conference. It's an 11-week series, and right now they're in the final 5 weeks. So it's starting to get more and more important that these matchups do end up going in a certain team's favor. Um, and oh my god, it's just stacked all the way down. Uh, Neji versus Snake in the one, I like I want that on stream. But Mr. Python versus Vino Spumoni. Vino Spumoni undefeated until last week versus Mr. Python actually undefeated is just going to be an absolute slobber knocker that
Yeah.
I hope it's going to be on stream.
We'll see about that. I actually don't know. It hasn't been confirmed for anything yet. Yeah, Python hasn't
Yeah.
lost in Hero for 2 seasons. And he played in the one last season, but because Neji's true PR is like through the roof, um, he's playing the one. So Python plays the two.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Uh,
then like those two are interesting, and then Kel versus Nomad Farmer is also interesting. Kel has been doing very well this season, even though he's got a 3-3 record. He's beaten some like top notch players, especially getting some sweeps, which is always nice for a team.
and then we also see two classes submitted in here.
Yeah.
Dr. Bombi, I don't even have to talk about his classes. Cbit, however, is bringing Demon Hunter and Mage, which are two interesting classes. The Mage usually will do very well into the Priest. Demon Hunter has slight winning matchups into certain builds of Dr. Bombi's decks. So we'll have to see what Dr. Bombi actually brings for each of these classes. But the Demon Hunter could be well favored into them.
Yeah. And it's really, I mean, it's cool to see a new team come in like Inferno. Like, I mean, it's only 3 new players. As Snake has been around, he plays pro. He's played a lot of pro, mainly for F2L. Vino, Cbit, and Nomad being new players, and Clarity having been around for a few seasons now as well. It's cool to see their team doing well. And Ask HS, I'm a bit surprised by their record. I had them pinned as like a super top. I still think they are a very strong hero team, and sometimes even strong teams just struggle. So this is gonna be hopefully a week. Inferno's been kind of teetering between wins and losses. They really haven't they haven't been, at an 0-3 to 3-3. They've been like 1-1, 2 2-2, 3, like that type of thing. Ask HS also has kind of been like that, and would love to see them love to see either of these teams make a nice run off of winning this week.
Yeah, when two top-heavy teams collide, it's going to be interesting to see which one of them comes out on top.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, are we ready to move on to our last match for Hero?
Yep.
Cool. So I will start this match off, and then I will defer to JR to make comments, because this is BLAST. The B is no longer on the team, so it would technically be SLAST. We got Blast versus Tampam, Surf Slam, Avi versus Justin, Lotus Knight versus JR. That is really cool matchup. Skittles versus Lefty, who is now he is now perma, it looks like. And we got Mako versus Oz, and Saku versus the returning Maddie Ebbs, who has been taking some time off this season, coming in as a sub.
Yeah, our team unfortunately had this is a week where I'm very excited, but I'm also a little bummed that we had to get 2 subs. We got Ducharmo. I don't think I know the reason why he needed a sub, and I'm not going to comment. Since that is none of my concern. But I know Wash has already kind of brought up on social media that he started a new job this past week. And so he was basically like, I'm just going to need the first week I start, I'm going to need a sub to, get my bearings together. So the legendary and always awesome Maddie Ebbs came in for him. So I'm excited. Unfortunately, Lefty already lost to Skittles 3-1.
Oh.
So a bit of a rough start for us, unfortunately. But
yeah.
I do feel pretty good about our chances. I think always just in time's the right person is just like Ducharmo, very much capable of taking down the legendary Avi. Myself versus Lotus Knight. I mean, I know I can win this one, but I am not sure what Lotus Knight is planning to do as far as if he's gonna get inside my head. He's been watching me on ladder a little bit. I might have to surprise him a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oz versus Mako. I definitely will give the edge to Oz, even though Mako is really strong. And Saku, I love the man, but Matty Ebbs, I think, is taking that one. No question.
Yeah. I love Saku.
But it's Matty Ebbs.
Yeah, I played Matty last season.
He's become so good over the last few seasons, for real.
He kicked my butt. The second time our teams played, I wasn't.
He should not be a 5 seed. Absolutely should not be a 5 seed.
No, he shouldn't be.
It is unfair. It is broken. It is wrong.
But
insert more synonyms here. But yes.
Yeah, I didn't play him the second time around, because I took off the last part of the season. But yeah, I mean, this looks like I picked this one just. It was partially because points are very close, and around this time, it's halfway, but when you get matchups with high disparities in points, I always like to pick matches that are a bit closer in points. I mean, there's always room for other matches that have more point variances, this could be a possible upset match, let's look at this one.
Right. But it's when you see all these really big, these really close matches where it's really fun knowing, this is going to be a hard one to call because it's so close in every way. Yeah, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and Skittles being a 3 seed in Hero is also very, very broken.
Oh yeah.
But there is a scenario in which you might even see 3 seed Lotus Knight.
I don't even want to go there.
So, we'll just see.
If you beat Lotus Knight this week, I mean,
yeah, that'll happen. So, Hero's shaping up very well, but it's just Hero's just too hard to call at week 6 into week 7 because there's still including this week there's 5 weeks to play, so it's a long one. But but this whole season's looking pretty good, and like I'm excited to see where it goes.
Pretty exciting.
All right, and speaking of exciting, let's get to the good part. We've got the commercial break. We're going to take a quick commercial break to tell you more about what THL has going on.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Tavern Talk. If you are enjoying our show, make sure you check out Run the Saloon and the Maniacal Tournament Series on Mondays and Ronnie Tuesday on Heart Center on Sunday that you will never guess. Is that enough content for you? Well, we stream THL matches each night from Thursday to Sunday starting at 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern. All evening match schedules are being determined by player and caster availability. Side effects may include knowledge and fun. But wait, that's not all. We also have incredible matches on weekend afternoons on School Stone. Precise times and events are subject to availability. For Pride Month, THL has undergone a mini makeover. The ever-talented 2-star Mako has redesigned a beautiful rainbow logo that you'll see popping up all over THL. You may be seeing it in the new THL Twitch chat. Speaking of which, please consider subscribing to our Twitch channel. This subscription enables the THL team to help cover the various costs of operating a website and improve the quality of our streams and content to our viewers. And I see someone asking in the chat, what is Twitch Prime? Well, I don't see it yet, but there it is. Well, if you have the Amazon Prime or Prime Gaming, you can sub to the channel for free. Another great reason to support THL is that it's going to a good cause. All proceeds from subs, bits, donations, and merch sales are going to the Trevor Project this month. So hit the heart button and keep the heart notifications on to make sure you catch our heart team streams live. We appreciate each and every one of you. Special note to our viewers, please check out THL's other social media points of interest. The website is teamheartlegends.com. Please follow us on Twitter at THL_HS. Join us on Discord at Team Heart Legends, and the THL POW podcast is wherever podcasts are sold.
And now back to the matches, and we are going into our open deck list series. For our standard, we have Pro Series. Got a couple of exciting matches to talk about, as Pro, similarly to Legacy, is getting towards the end of its season. So we're going to start in the Black Conference for this match. JR can take us away on Parlos Chicos versus Faction.
Yup. These guys this is going to be a fun one, I can tell. Obviously, neither of these teams are looking like they're in the top of their, respective top of the conference they're in. I do find it interesting that although Faction is actually looking pretty good considering they're at 75 points and have already had their bye, so maybe they're actually in a pretty good spot. I do notice how Diamond's team has 2 subs this week, Refla and Cheesy 10.
And Cheese has been
Cheesy
around.
10, I think I recognize that name as a player from before my time, before I started.
Indeed, yes, that is a very old-time THL player.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Just a note, Walter Ruski is being subbed out for Mojo Powell this week. So Mojo will be making another...
Mojo!
So Mojo will be playing another...
Mojo.
Yeah, he got a win last week, and so let's see if he can continue it this week. It just hasn't been updated on the match yet, as of when I took the screenshot.
I would also like to recognize that I recognize Refla as well. I recognize him from joining the THL server about a week ago. So
Nice.
Not the storied time that Cheesy 10 has, but already a match in as well for Faction versus Parlos Chicos.
Yeah, we got that 3-2 win for Foggy 8. He's very good. He's a very good player.
Start.
Yeah, it's usually tough to look at Faction's top 2 and just not say they're gonna win every week because they're both insane players. But this week Harash plays Mr. Python, so it is not a given that Harash is gonna win.
Nope.
Both players are very strong, so I would also not be surprised to see a 3-2 for the winner of this match. I think in this match, will probably mean a lot for Parlos Chicos, who haven't had their bye, where they need to get a couple of nice wins before the bye week. I'm not sure when it's exactly going to be, but we see that. But we just know that their points per week are kind of low for having played 6 matches. So really need a strong week here, and having a couple of subs, if they can step up and get some good wins, that'll put them on the right track. And Diamond knows how to help a team prepare for a week. So definitely interesting.
Yeah, Parlos Chico's a little bit out of points per week, but if they win this week, they definitely have a strong chance of getting into playoffs.
For sure.
So next on the docket, though,
Making sure I
is
got it.
going to be the top team in their division. Washed Tappers, absolutely cleaning house versus F2L Crimson. F2L Crimson has the lowest wins in the league, but still is fourth from bottom. They're beating 3 other teams with fewer wins than them. So F2L Crimson, their score betrays them for sure. And just by their lineup, you see exactly that. I wasn't necessarily picking this for the closest points matchup this week, but just for the quality of players. I mean, F2L Crimson brings it. MMW versus Corvette, I'd like to see that any day of the week. Ufric versus Chain Magician, just like Chain Magician feels like he's taking a break from qualifying for Masters tours to come play Ufric. Marty B versus Valdis, Itachi versus ESOG Lakta, who also joined the server very recently, I believe joined today, and CMAC versus the Erevis. Like, honestly, I wish all these matches were streamed, and I want this to be as close to the wire as possible. Another tie, please.
Yeah. I don't know if I want a tie, but I mean, I am a bit of an F2L homer as someone who plays on one of their teams, where I really want to see this team do well. Specifically Corbett. He had a rough week last week. He with submissions where he accidentally, because the token druids between wild and standard are so close in cards, that I'm not lying, they're very close. He accidentally submitted a wild token druid list. And so he could not get the full wins. And I mean, he did unfortunately end up getting swept. But I don't think, but I mean, he's openly admitted that it wasn't, he wasn't necessarily feeling it after he just couldn't win the match. Fair play, honestly. Like, sometimes that just bums you out. But I think he'll come back strong. And even though MMW has not lost, Corbett is just one of the best Hearthstone players I know, and because he's argued to be the best wild player, and I'm sure it can convert to standard.
Yeah, we've got what maybe looks like in points to be a lot of unfair matchups in the Pink Conference this week, but based on the quality of players, I don't think this is that unfair.
No.
Mm-mm.
All right. So
I would agree with that.
definitely.
It feels pretty close, honestly. It does not feel like it doesn't feel one-sided despite the records, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting not having Heat Shock playing this week. Like I want to see what Galacta brings into Itachi and how that goes. There's a bit of there's element of surprise with no prior submissions.
Right.
Yeah, let's guess we can move on into our last match if there's no other thoughts. Our last pro match, that is.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, last thought. Wash Tappers is 4-1. F2O Crimson is 1-4, but it doesn't even look like that. It's crazy to me that a 4-1 versus a 1-4 isn't just out and done with.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see that last match.
Yeah, I'm also just a homer, and I want to see F12 win. So But I mean, Wash Tapper's amazing team, so for sure. All right, so let's get into our next match. Last match is going back to the Black Conference. We have Hype Horizon versus Mancrick's Multiple Wives, and I picked this because I always love spotlighting Hype Horizon. They are an incredible team, but Mancrick's Multiple Wives, like there's some very good players on this team. A team that I guess it gets brought up. They definitely were underrated in pro this season, but it's so hard to rate certain teams who are new coming into pro because you see all the other stacked teams and you're just like these guys that I know and I know that they're like it's always fun to see how a team comes together. If this team is definitely competing. McBannerface versus Lefty, Liquid Ox versus Wild 9, Gamer RVG versus Nice Jewish Owl, Cool Kid 2001 versus MPV, and D Money versus Jester. We have classes for D Money versus Jester. I don't know if they've played yet. So I can.
Yeah. This is you actually stole this match for me. I wanted to highlight this same match because I looked at those classes.
There's no stealing in
There
in
is
our line.
there's a shaman bring.
It's not only just the shaman bring. They're all bringing Nozdormu the Eternal. It's Nozstone.
Oh, okay. All right, that's incredible. Okay, yeah. I didn't even realize that. I just picked it because they're interesting matchups with McBanner and Lefty versus and Ox versus Wild 9. I mean, the middle seeds are also really cool, but I mean, obviously a Nozstone match, like, amazing.
JR, it's not stealing. He's merely featuring the match I wanted to feature, but I got to feature an extra match then.
Yes.
But yeah,
I mean, it works out, right?
Shaman brought by D Money. I really hope D Money is not throwing by bringing Shaman, but bringing Nozdormu decks. But either way, they're making a show of it, regardless.
Yeah, I'm gonna just check really fast. Yeah, it's definitely a more looks like kind of spell damage, but it's got some late game stuff in it, so it'll be it'll be interesting how the deck plays out for D Money there. But I like the Nozdormu. I like that that they've agreed to a Nozdormu Beatstone match. And
yeah, common call out
Always
if
fun stuff.
Jester, if you would like to lock in Nozstone, we'll see what it can do. I mean, I know it's not open deck lists for our match, but
yeah, I mean, I had one of my teammates do a Nozstone match earlier this season, so I'm sure if the people are willing to do it. But yeah, overall, this is a cool match. Like, I think Ox versus Wild 9 is probably my favorite matchup here because Wild 9 is just getting better and better and better as he plays, and Ox is one of the best pro series players like ever. He has the most championships throughout the history of pro. And then like it's just interesting because Hyper Horizon like top of their conference, and then Mancrick's Multiple Wives is. I mean, they're not sitting that far behind. Like they're 9 points behind only, so definitely keeping up in the hunt in Black Conference.
Yep. I don't know what else to add, honestly.
Oh,
yeah. From top team to top team, I think we're going to be talking about a top team in Wild next.
yes, I just have to get that all set up.
I think I will just say Mancrick's Multiple Wives is like a really strong team, but I don't think you would necessarily notice that from looking at like a first glance. Like they've got some really strong players on it, but it obviously doesn't bring to mind the same kind of hype and like powerhouse that Hype Horizon does. But that just really goes to show how I think Mancrick's Multiple Wives are just a great like underdog story in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
Lefty versus McBanderface, I'm so stoked for that. I'm so happy to see
Yeah.
that man doing so well in pro. I really am.
I am too. I was just actually very sad when their match conflicted with Geranium Battle's match time
Oops.
for stream.
Well,
So
Shame.
it was
I'm too
very,
fast.
very rough. Yeah. Um, yeah, left like the last few weeks, Lefty's just kind of been an MVP with helping me find matches. So I always so I like to give him a bit of shout out.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so pros shaping up to be really good. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of amazing teams in that series. And speaking of series with a lot of amazing players, some that we don't have a lot of information on, we've got Wild Series. Moving right into it. Um, First match, any Anoyo versus Nothing Can Stop Us.
Yep, we got ourselves. It's time to get wild, and of course we've got ourselves the always powerful and consistent Anoyo team
Uh-huh.
versus the newcomers, which is of course they're filled with some pretty seasoned players in Wild anyway, but nothing can stop us. I gotta give the edge, of course, to Anoyo team. I know these guys very well. Very strong group of players, and I would say that they're showing to be pretty tough. Nothing can stop us are obviously not far behind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty close matchup, but I do think the slightest of edges goes to Anoyo team for now. No way H versus Slate, I think, is going to be fantastic in particular. But
Yeah.
I think all these matches definitely show a degree of excitement to them.
Yeah, I think of all these matches, there's only one that I would call like super lopsided, and that would be Tiger Eye versus Mike V. Because Tiger Eye, he's not like he's new to THL, but he's like a top, like he's consistently top 10 wild ladder, insane player. He's known for his dark glare, and specifically like for a specific card, he brings in dark glare over which it's a card that can be teched in, but he loves the card. I don't want to give it away because I don't want to like necessarily spurt it out, but the wild players all know. But yeah, I love it. Like Slate versus No Way, amazing match. Duin versus Quake Lord, great match. Bone Master versus Yo Daddy, great match. And Matt versus Seth, for Christ, great match. So
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think this is gonna be a blowout.
Nope.
No, JR, I'm gonna disagree with you on your Anoyo team pick because Nofin can stop them, including Everyone's a Winner. They are the team that dethroned Everyone's a Winner, put them out of the top two for the first time they have ever been last week. So I think they're going to be on a tear.
I think Nofin looks scary. I think Nofin looks scary if Tiger Eye turns into a perma sub.
Yeah, him being brought multiple weeks in a row is actually just cheating
It
in
is.
the 5.
More or less, right?
Yeah, I mean that's just how Wild works. Like if you come in as a sub, like they put you. It's a great system. Like it's the same for pro. If you come in and you're 0-0, you tend to play the 5 seed. That way you're not coming in and I have to go up against McBanterface, like future GM McBanterface. That unless he's having a bad
It's the
season,
guy.
like yeah. I mean, in any case, there's definitely like guys who are playing the 5 seed who are insane across all series. Um, yeah, I think this is I think this is a really just a great matchup in general. And our next match was definitely picked for the closeness and points. Um, this is it seems to be Duradium's favorite wild team. We've got Felmy,
Okay,
I'm a Wreck versus Mad Scientist.
look, you can call me crazy. I do not care. I'm going to bring Family Amarek for the third
Mhm.
week in a
I
row.
mean,
I'm going to talk about them.
let's go.
They are
I like
going
their
to
team.
win. Okay? They have had such an insane schedule of teams to go against. They're finally against someone who's below them on the point ladder. Let's see this win. Let's see Peanuts against number 3. Let's see Kyrex against Catharsis. Let's see Snake Fods against Siege. I think Falmeamarek is primed. The gas is in the engine. They
Mhm.
just need to get that engine started, okay?
Yeah. To put it in perspective, these teams have the highest strength of schedule, where Felmia Marek has a AOS, an average opponent strength of 16.4, and Mad Scientist has one of 16.47. The next highest is the Crab Riders, who is sitting dead last with a 15.47. So these teams have essentially played Viridian, Mancrix, and everyone's a winner pretty much. That's like that. That's what that shows.
Oh yeah, Falmeamarek has played Viridian, Mancrix Revenge, Everyone's a Winner, Noyo Team, No One Can Stop Us. They've played
Yeah,
literally every single
that
top
makes a
team,
lot of sense,
just down the line.
and it's crazy. They have some very strong players. Like Mentalistic is this insane player. He's just struggling this season. Snake Fods Snake Falls is a wild main player who's just been very consistent in standard.
Yeah. If you don't believe in Falmeamarek, look at just how good their losses are. They have 5 losses. Mad Scientist has 2 draws instead of 2 of those losses.
They have
And
more
Falmeamarek
points.
still has more points.
Yeah.
They have more points than if they had tied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Absolutely insane.
in Nanko, I've been trying to figure that out since like week 1, like what the pun on their name is.
Yeah, I got nothing for that.
Yeah, I don't know either. So yeah, we've got. There's no classes for that match, unfortunately, but this next one has matches, and I have their deck lists pulled up because because this is the match I picked. This is another one where I took a match that Geranium was gonna pick, and that is Mancrix Revenge versus Everyone's a Winner. This is the potential bounce back week for Everyone's a Winner. Both these teams are insanely strong. We see an undefeated player on Mancrix Revenge in PCDS. He was also the player of the week for Wild last week. Oddlaw and he's going against Battle Tagger. Oddlaw on Sunday, Sinister Me versus Hazer, Lefty 2111 versus Absolute, and Gumby against 6J. So I guess I don't know if you want me to go through all the decks and stuff or not. That's up to you guys. For the PCDS and Battle Tagger matches, I don't know if there's results. I'll just quickly check before I go ahead and go through the Tagger match because there's a ban. You ban a little differently in Wild and Pro. All right, there's no result. Cool.
Not reported at least.
Yeah, there's no both the bans aren't in yet, so I would guess that match isn't being currently, or at least the match would be being played.
Quick before you go to the decks, just want to mention the story line of this. Mancrix Revenge was sort of nearing the top, and Everyone's a Winner was just staying right there, sitting pretty at in the top 2. But then when Everyone's a Winner lost to Nothing Can Stop Us, Mancrix Revenge barely snuck into second place. So Mancrix Revenge is the new second place, and now they're going to fight second versus third.
Yeah. It's easy to say that this is Everyone's a Winner favored based on records. But you know that the records don't say everything. A lot of times seeing the matchups is what's very interesting. So I will, and there's also decks for Lefty versus Absolute. I can just quickly say that I'll go through the Sinister and Hazer decks. So Sinister brought Hunter, Mage, Priest, Warrior. His Hunter is odd hero power Hunter. It's a deck I had seen brought before. Hunter's not generally considered a good class in Wild, but sometimes if you're bringing it, you're probably bringing like Hero Power Hunter or like some variant of Even potentially. Mage deck is Mozaki. Priest deck is Big Priest, and he's got a Big Warrior list. I really am interested because there's some of these are like the two specifically Hunter and Warrior are a bit off meta. They're not like tier 1, 2, maybe even tier 3 decks. But in a conquest format, they can definitely get wins if you know what you're doing.
Right.
And for Hazer, he's brought Druid, Mage, Priest, Rogue. His Druid is Malagos. His Mage is also Mozaki, so we have a potential for Mozaki. A couple of Mozaki games. A Priest is Reno Combo Priest, your general Raza Priest deck. And Rogue is Mill Rogue. So Mill Rogue's always fun to see. And I guess I'll see if any of these guys have brought any other like kind of like standout decks. A couple of odd Paladin brings between the two teams. Battle Tagger and Absolute both bringing odd Paladin, which has come back into favor a bit recently. And PCDS brought he brought Kingsbane Rogue with a Zephrys in it. I have never seen Zephrys in this deck before, and Kingsbane did have to go through a bit of a rework with the loss of Nitro Boost Poison, essentially being like a super strong card because it's hard. It would be so hard to actually corrupt now.
I would say Lefty has actually brought a pretty interesting deck. He's brought something I haven't seen before, at least. It's a Rush Bomb Warrior.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
he's brought Bomb Warrior, that has ETC, that has like some ETC tech in it. So that's neat. I did look at that. I did look at that and forgot about it.
I'm very curious now as to what that looks like.
He brought Cube Lock, which is a deck that has kind of fallen out of favor, compared to Reno, Warlock, and Dark Glare. So very interesting brings. Yeah, very exciting stuff here in Wild. I would love to see six. I can tell obviously 6J struggling, got a 2-4 record. And if he starts winning, then I think everyone's a winner. Will definitely be able to maintain that second or third place. Like definitely can get second place, and they still haven't played F12 Viridian yet. So they still have their. So like there's still a chance that like if they keep winning and Viridian slips up a week, I don't know if they have how much more strong teams they have to play. I would say probably a couple of them. So it's definitely not over the race in Wild, even though Viridian's very far ahead right now.
Yeah, there's still playoffs after that as well.
I'm honestly surprised that
course.
Viridian. I'm pretty surprised that Viridian managed to kind of reclaim their dominance this season. I mean, they were doing really well last season, but I wasn't expecting them to be undefeated up until this point, despite all of that.
Yeah, I think for their schedule, I'm not surprised, and with their addition of Get Me Out, as Itachi stepped down from the team. Obviously, Itachi's an amazing player, but Get Me Out is also considered a super, a very like high level Wild
Pretty
player.
sick.
So getting to really watch some of the people on that team because they are pretty prominent streamers. Like it shows why they are that good.
Yeah, Corvette and Get Me Out, both very popular Wild streamers. I wonder if they're going to bring in the last podcast member and get Raffle in next season.
Oh yeah, I love it. Shout outs to State of.
I can't even with that.
Shout outs to
idea.
State of Wild, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, we've got some good stuff going on throughout THL this week. We do not have any interviews this week.
No, we do not. But
we just wanted to kind of get the episode done as fast as possible, and I think we made some good time here.
We did good though. We did good.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for sticking this episode out with us. Obviously, it's always great to see you all in chat and have some great conversations with both of my co-hosts.
It was a good one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll be excited to talk about Legacy next week, especially since that will be since again only 2 more weeks left. We'll be getting down to the wire with that, and then of course, more other hot takes and stuff we're going to want to share. So stay keep following us. Please donate, of course. Again, we want to see how much we can raise for the Trevor Project. We're really hoping to make this a fantastic Pride Month for everybody,
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus and otherwise.
Yeah, and if you do donate on stream, obviously you see that we have our donation bar down below Geranium Battle, but we also have a really cool donation alert that will pop up on the stream. We generally don't have that for resubs and everything like that, but we have that this month. So you know,
Yeah, remember, this is going to be a month-long thing, so you've got
Yeah.
plenty of time to make an impact and make something happen for us. So thank you again, everybody, for participating tonight. It's been a nice little, we've had a nice little session here,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to what the rest of this month holds.
For sure. So I will quickly run through what I know for matches. I know tomorrow night my voice is finally going out. Tomorrow night we have one 10 p.m. match so far. The Big Ted from Wherever I May Roam versus Cherub of Murloc and Load from Hero Series. That'll be casted by myself and Nice Jewish Owl. We are looking for a 9 p.m. match as well. So if you are playing at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, even if it's wild, I'm sure I can get a wild caster to come on in for that. So if you're interested, I take all series and all skill levels. There, if you want to play your match on stream, hit me up. Friday night fights. We don't have anything so far, and there is no battlegrounds anymore. So
Battlegrounds, fortunately or unfortunately, just finished up last week. So
yeah.
no more of that for quite some time. But congratulations to I believe it was the Lemurs.
Yes, Lemurs.
Lemurs, but not Lemurs team.
Yeah, not TH Lemurs team.
Yeah.
Nah, that was Lee's team. So
Right.
So F12 Silver has
Other
THL Lemur.
I guess.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, Silver had TH Lemur on it.
And then I see for Salty Saturday, we've got Geranium Battle, of course, versus Jester, like we talked about. Looking for a 10 o'clock match for that.
Yeah, that's myself and
Schoolstone
Isaac.
and Sunday Showdown are still open,
Mhm.
but let's make something happen, people. Come on.
Yeah, I haven't checked. I'm not sure if Lotus put anything down, so I can.
There actually is something for Sunday Showdown, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it's going to be Canu
Mm-hmm.
versus. Oh no. I'm very sorry. I'm forgetting people's opponents.
Oh.
Canu versus Nebkanuk.
Oh, okay. So Canoe versus Neb. Nice.
Yeah.
So I just don't have that marked on the. I don't have that marked on the stream scheduling, but that'll get put up eventually. So yeah, if you wanna be on stream Friday, Saturday we are looking for a 10 p.m. match. Our Saturday we're looking for 10 p.m. Schoolstone. Pretty much any time from about noon to 5 p.m. Eastern. If you want to have a match stream, contact Lotus Knight. If you want to have, obviously we have one Sunday match. And so they'll be looking for more. So contact Saku for Fridays and Sundays. Contact myself for Thursday and Saturday, and Lotus Knight for the afternoon shows. And if you just contact any of us, we'll direct you to the correct person. So yeah, I guess this is gonna be the end of the show. Any final thoughts before I go ahead and get us out of here?
I'm just glad we got another nice show in. I'm excited for the season to continue, and I am also excited to, of course, continue this wonderful show that we get to do every week, despite how exhausting it can be when all is said and done.
Yeah, life is exhausting sometimes.
Yes, it is, but very fulfilling at the same time.
Yes.
Another week predicted.
All right,
is
everybody.
another
We
week
hope you all have
closer to. Sorry about that. Another week closer to predicting all those finalist matches and getting into playoffs. So very looking forward to that. Sorry for interrupting, JR.
You're good. But thank you for that comment, and thank you all so much for watching tonight. Be sure to stay tuned for the remaining shows for this week. And be sure to catch us again next Wednesday on another fantastic episode of Tavern Talk. Please stay safe and have a wonderful week.
Bye, everybody.